Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today, courtesy of a very generous loan from Wraith Defense, we are taking a look at an LPC Model 16. This is the first commercially viable or commercially marketed laser aiming system on a rifle in the US. This was produced by a company called Laser Products Corporation, which is better known today as Surefire, still in business doing all sorts of laser and flashlight and suppressor sorts of things. So Laser Products dates back to 1979 when their founder, scientist, decided, you know what? I bet I can fit one of these lasers to a firearm and make it a viable sighting device. Now, this was originally intended to be used at night. During the day, you had iron sights, and this laser is nowhere near powerful enough to be actually visible during the daylight. I know, I've tried. You can see it here inside on a wall, and it works fine at very short ranges and inside, and it works great in the dark. But outside in direct sunlight, forget it. So let's get that expectation correct from the beginning. Now, the first gun that Laser Products came out with, or the first laser-equipped gun, was a Colt 357 Magnum Trooper, and this was their LPC Model 7. And it had a laser hung under the barrel, and the battery assembly was basically grafted onto the bottom of the grip, so it has kind of a weirdly long-looking grip on it. That wasn't a huge commercial success, but you know, it's the first product. It sets the standard, and LPC would come out with, in 1981, a number of other options for laser-integrated firearms, specifically the Ruger Mini 14, the Remington 870, both in a full-length traditional shotgun style and also a pistol grip only style, where they used the same laser system that they'd put on that Colt Trooper, and then they grafted a small battery pack onto the bottom of the pistol grip of the shotgun. And of course the LPC Model 16 for the M16/AR-15. These were very much targeted at law enforcement. The idea was you would have a way to actually aim the firearm in the dark. Now, there's a rumor that these were manufactured, these specifically, these M16 or AR-15 pattern ones, that they were manufactured specifically for the LA police for security at the 1984 Olympics. And that, as best I can tell, is not actually true. But there is a grain of truth to it, because the LAPD did in fact purchase Remington 870s with laser sights from LPC for the 1984 Olympics, for the security arrangements for the Olympics. So they didn't actually get these, but they did get something from the same company. And that, of course, went a long way in sort of raising the profile of the company and making their products, looks like something that might be worth a second glance if you're a law enforcement agency. Once LAPD decides to adopt it, well, maybe there's something really there. The other thing that, of course, boosted their company profile was their use in the Terminator movies, where Arnold the Terminator picks out a 1911. With a Laser Products Corporation laser grafted onto it. Anyway, I don't have good numbers on exactly how many of these were made, but it appears to have only been a couple dozen. This particular one was made in 1982. And, well, let's go ahead and take a closer look at it and how it differs fundamentally from today's laser-equipped firearms. This thing is super cool and super huge, by the way. It comes out at 10¼ pounds unloaded. Add on a bit more if you actually had a loaded magazine in it. The lower receiver here is nothing special. This is just a Colt semi-auto AR-15, what they call an AR-15A2 commercial lower receiver. It's the upper receiver here that has all of the special, special construction to it. Now, I want to point out, there are advertisements you can find from old gun magazines that show these, but they show a slightly different version of this, where it's more of a traditional carry handle up here with the whole laser assembly mounted in front of the carry handle. And as best I can tell, those advertisements are all showing basically a mock-up build that was done for advertising. All the ones that were actually produced are designed like this, where really the laser had to be longer. So you can see the laser's coming all the way out here to the standard front sight block on a 20-inch A2 pattern or A1 pattern full-length M16 or AR-15 rifle. zoom out a bit there. This is all laser and this is all battery, and that's a really long assembly. And so you had to come up with some way to actually fit it in, and the way to do that was to put the sights up on top of the battery. They added another carry handle up there, so you could in fact put a carry handle style optic on top of this if you really wanted a lot of sight over bore. This is a helium-neon gas laser. And the reason we don't have this sort of thing still today is because we have solid-state lasers that don't require an actual sealed gas tube to run. This did. It's funny, I tried to pick this up on camera and you really can't get it, but when it's running, I don't have the battery in it right now, but when it's running, you can actually hear this thing buzzing, which is kind of cool. So I've got my battery here, a rechargeable NiCad 14.4 volt battery from Laser Products Corporation. It's got a little handle on it there so you can get it in and out of the gun, and 2 contact points. The gun itself has a little trap door at the back. We've got a little plunger right in there. Push that down and I can open that lever, which allows me to open this trap door on the back of the gun. And then I want the contacts facing up, and I can slide that right in and then close the door, snap it shut. The laser is now ready to go. You can see there is a cable connection coming out of it here to a pressure pad that turns it on and off, and there it is. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It does actually buzz when it's running. But that's all there is to it. When you hold pressure on the pad, the laser is activated. Now, this was assembled in cooperation with Colt because you can see, obviously, there are some fundamental changes made to some of the castings, like the front sight tower here, the gas block and front sight tower, to incorporate our laser in. And this would have been zeroed at the factory. So in theory, there is no modification necessary. There's no obvious way to change the zero. Obviously, you can by taking the thing apart or by shimming it as it's attached to the upper. But as you know, from a user's perspective, this came from the factory, zeroed and ready to use. And of course, you can see they've got original A1 style iron sights up here on top. So during the daytime, you would use your iron sights, and at night, you have the laser for when you can't see the irons. Naturally, of course, you need to be able to recharge the battery. So we have a charger box here, laser aimed weapons, with some instructions. Oops. Instructions on the back there for both charging and reconditioning the battery. Plugs into a wall socket. A bit of a cautionary note there that this is for 110 volt, 60 hertz. And to charge it, you simply plug that guy in and let it charge. When you do, you've got condition and charge lights that will come on. There are instructions on the back explain how that all works, but that's it. These batteries do still function, but they don't hold a charge anymore, unfortunately. Again, a big thanks to Wraith Defense for loaning me this to film for you guys. These are obviously really quite scarce today, and it's really cool to get to take a look at one, not just that still exists, but one that actually still functions. Because of the 2 batteries with this, this battery mostly works. I should point out, let's see, in fact, let me get my reader here. I took this out to the range, and it was basically dead at the range. When I charged this, yeah, so this battery is old and is not holding its own. When I pulled this off the charger, it was reading like 18.5 volts. It is nominally a 14.4 volt battery. It is now, less than an hour later, reading like 14.5 volts. So this battery is toast because it is, frankly, 41 years old. Can't really blame it. So it would have been fun to try actually doing some shooting with this, but the batteries are dead. Anyway, again, big thanks to Wraith Defense for the loan. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely not a typical sort of thing to get to take a look at. Thanks for watching.